What if the reason you're feeling constantly tired isn't because you're lazy, but because you're trying to work your way into feeling valuable? Today, we're going to be looking at the hustle culture, but through the lens of the Bible. I see through the lens of the cross. I see through the lens of the cross. I see that you are good, Jesus. I see that you. Do you know the song? Good Jesus. Anywho, before I get carried away by the song, my name is Chioma, and this is the Ecclesia. The Ecclesia is a gathering of people who are open to God and curious about faith. If you're watching this video right now, then you have been called. Please consider subscribing so we can grow this channel, and then watch this video to the end so you determine if you like it. If you do, give it a thumbs up. This is a thinking gathering. I need to know what you think. Let me know in the comments, okay? Okay. Let us start with something fundamental. In Genesis chapter 1 verse 27, it says, "So God created man in his image. Male and female created he them." The scripture doesn't say, "So God created wealthy people in his image. Billionaires and celebrities created he them." It says God created people, you and I, in his image. What does that tell you? That means your value doesn't come from your career, your income, your accomplishments, or your fame. No, you are valuable because God made you. Full stop. I think that's good news. Your work can be meaningful without becoming the thing that gives you meaning. And that's important because the hustle culture can subtly make us confuse what we do with who we are. Your career is just an aspect of your life. It doesn't define your ultimate worth. But you do know we're all about balance on this channel, so I need to tell you that yes, the Bible does tell us to work hard. Yes, in Ecclesiastes chapter 9 verse 10 it says, "Whatever your hands find to do, do it with all your might." In Colossians chapter 3 verse 23 it says, "Whatever you do, do it heartily, as unto the Lord and not unto men." So the Bible isn't anti-work. God cares about how we work. We should be diligent. We should develop our gifts. We should pursue excellence. We should be responsible with the opportunities that God has given us. If you remember the parable Jesus told of the talents, that servant that was given 1 talent and he went to bury it. Use your talents, please. But here's the difference. Hustle culture says work hard so you can become somebody. But biblical wisdom says work hard because you already belong to God. That's a completely different motivation. You can even do good things and still have an unhealthy relationship with work. Look at Martha in Luke chapter 10. Martha was serving Jesus. She was doing something good, but she was overwhelmed, anxious, and frustrated that Mary was sitting at Jesus' feet instead of helping her. And what did Jesus say to her? He said, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and troubled about many things." Not gonna lie, I have been Martha. Notice that Jesus wasn't telling her that serving was bad. He was addressing what the busyness was doing to her heart. And I think that's something we desperately need to hear today. You can be busy doing good things and still be unhealthy. You can be building your career and still be destroying your peace. You can be pursuing success and be neglecting your relationships. You can be productive and still be spiritually empty. You can even be doing something that God has called you to do and become so obsessed with the work that you forget the God who called you in the first place. But that's where biblical rest matters. In Exodus, God commands the Israelites to observe the Sabbath. There's something really profound about that. God literally tells his children to stop working. Yeah, everybody, home, now. Why? Because there's a tendency we have to think that everything depends on us. But rest reminds us that I am not God. The world can continue without me. My business will survive without me working every waking hour. And I'm not less valuable because I'm resting. I think most importantly, rest reminds us that we don't have to constantly produce to prove that we are valuable. We just are. So, what is the biblical balance? It is not work hard until you collapse. No. Neither is it don't work at all. God will handle everything. It is work hard, rest faithfully, trust God, receive gratefully, and do not confuse your productivity with your identity. Don't do that, my love. Nah, you can pursue excellence without worshipping achievement, and you can be ambitious without being consumed by ambition. You can want to succeed without needing success to tell you that you're valuable, and you can rest without feeling guilty, because ultimately your worth isn't determined by what you accomplish. Again, you are valuable. You just are. So the next time you find yourself thinking, I'm not doing good enough, I'm falling behind, everyone else is better than me, pause and remember Genesis 1:27. You were made in the image of Elohim Adonai before you ever accomplished anything. Wonderful. And then remember Colossians 3 verse 23. Whatever you do, do it heartily as unto the Lord. That is the balance, because your work matters, but your work is not your worth. That's such a bar. Be tender. Work hard, not to prove that you're somebody, but because you're already somebody created and valued by God. And when it's time to rest, snore. Because your Father doesn't need you to destroy yourself trying to prove your value. You can work diligently without worshiping work. That is the biblical balance. And that is the end of the video for today. If you watched to this point, you like the video, so give the video a thumbs up so YouTube can push this video out to more people like you who will like this video. Also consider subscribing, and you already know this is a thinking gathering. Let me know what you think in the comments. Till I come your way next time, you may go and grow.